That's 6. Stop.
Well, it'll be nice to have a day where we're not playing gap rules.
I don't know. We cracked this overnight low early. It might fall. This thing.
You mean the 90, what is it, 94.50?
Yeah, because look, I mean, if you're looking at that JKLM lows right there, or JLM lows, I imagine there's quite a few stops there. That triggers.
Oh, you mean from yesterday? Yeah. I see what you're
Yeah.
saying.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If we break the overnight low, we crack that real quick. I think I don't know. That's what I'm looking at. And I'm just gonna try to hold my water and see if we make it down to that POC. That 30, that 59 about.
And I think with Globex, as tight of a range Globex had, I kind of feel like we're setting a value here. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm definitely not a reader per se, but with the
I don't
tight of a
know.
range, with this tight of a range of Globex, I feel like that we're kind of setting up. I guess I can't see the rest of the chart, so I don't know, but it seems like we're poised to go. I don't know how far back up, but it seems like we're poised to go up, but I don't know. Again, that's not necessarily.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of using that overnight low as a trigger point. Like if we stay above it, get above 406, I agree. But I think if we get a little tempo down this morning, I think people might freak out. Below
Yeah,
4,000.
yeah, of course, yes, for certain. If we get below 4,000, then it's going to become kind of a free for all to the downside because I don't know what the levels are offhand. But I
Be
think
like
as long as,
yesterday.
yeah, but I feel like as long as we stay above open and build value, maybe even above, yeah, the 406, maybe even a little bit higher,
I got the 16, like that overnight high, right where it lining up with that POC and the H draw and the high H. It's kind of a land in the sand up top too. Like if we get above there, I gotta imagine we'll trigger. I guess it's like 1575, right around there.
yeah.
Because I mean, we could start cascading scops there. You got the IH, everybody putting it the POC
Yeah.
overnight.
If it
We,
goes over that 16, it'll go to that 21 halfback for sure.
yeah, and if with momentum, it could trigger right above, back up. Kind of back.
Is there any news today?
No, it's quiet, so it could just sit here and do nothing all day. Also,
Yeah, I hate that.
I know those are tough because you think you're getting the breakout, then it fades back. You think you're gonna get the breakdown, then it fades back up. You gotta be real
And yeah.
patient.
But everything's looking red though on Brett's screen though, so I don't know. But once
yeah,
it opens, it'll all change.
the breadth is definitely
How?
short. So it looks, I don't know how you tell whether or not it's net short, but I would say, given the breadth of the NYSE and the NASDAQ, with 11, NYSE is 11, negative 11, and NASDAQ's negative 3.5. I would say that's a pretty
Yeah,
definite sign of net short.
they judge it off the settle, so it's kind of a balanced look. How they would talk about, yeah, what Lecker's saying, pretty balanced. You look at that 403.25 is where you kind of judge it by.
Yeah, for sure.
How do you tell if overnight inventory is balanced or not?
That's what we're saying. You kind of look at you look at the settle and you tell if it's it's all below, it's short, if it's all above, and then right here balanced, kind of all around it.
Gotcha. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's look at my crypto and see what's going on.
What do you think, Kevin, about Soul? Did it survive, or are we just on a slow death?
Yeah, no, Soul's gonna survive. Soul has a lot of good shit going for it, and it just got in that contagion from FTX, even though it didn't have anything to do with it. Just kind of got wound up because FTX had invested a lot into Soul. He had bought 10% of Soul when Soul first opened, but he didn't have anything to do with it. Just and then he dumped a bunch of Soul to try to make up for all the Bitcoin FTX he didn't have. It just kind of dropped the price way down. But Soul's probably one of the best uh tokens out there. It's got the most going for it. It's got it has very low inflation. It's got great tokenomics. It's got great utility. I think Soul's going to be the best, one of the best out there, and it's got one of the highest user rates. It's got it's actually making money. It's one of the few coins that's actually making money, and
It is making
yeah,
money because I bought a little bit more this month to put into a long-term position,
well,
long-term hunt.
I mean, it's even if it even goes half back to its all-time high, it's gonna do like a 10x. I mean, it was at like $230 or something for a bit.
And you get good staking rewards on it too.
Yeah, and it doesn't loan out money like like crazy, and it does have an issue, a couple issues where it where it locked up, for a couple hours, whatever. But it's also able to do like I forget, it's like 10 million transactions a minute or something. It's like it's way higher than ETH or Bitcoin stuff. It's actually really good. It just sucks that FTX invested so heavily in it and then dumped all the coins out there. And it's pretty well decentralized too. It doesn't have, a few people with all the tokens. Yeah, I keep watching this. You ever see this Richard Hart guy with Hex? This
No.
guy's fucking ridiculous. Yeah, he's but no, I think Soul, I think Soul, I think Soul, I think Matic, I think Chainlink, I think those ones. Any of the ones that survived through this one and last uh bear market, they're gonna survive. I mean, I think. And I think, since Soul is like 96% down or something. You ever watch Invest Answers?
No.
That guy's really awesome. His name's James. He does like a 15-minute show every day, and he's just all about numbers. And he's a huge Soul um, advocate. And but it's all just about. He's very, very analytic. He doesn't, he's not biased or anything. He's a very, big numbers guy. And he has a YouTube show. It's called Invest Answers. And he was a trader. He does options and stuff, and worked for a bunch of big companies and around the world. And so he's very, very smart. And he does all the analytics. He does this compendium of like 300 different I don't know about 300, but like 50 different um uh things about each coin. Like he went through the top 300 coins and rated them, went through and checked their tokenomics and their inflation and their, just all their stuff. And Sol was one of the highest, or I think the highest. And even still, even though it's dumped way low, he's still is a big advocate just because it has such good, so I would keep buying Sol. I'm gonna keep buying it. I'm gonna keep buying Matic. I'm gonna keep buying Polygon, even though I lost a lot on Polygon. Um,
I keep
and
on buying. I keep Soul. It's been a little while since I bought some. I was buying it in the 30 range before it collapsed, but Cardano I keep adding to also. He just
yeah,
keep
I stopped
I
buying Cardano. I do have a lot of hope for Cardano. I just know that everything he's doing is 5 or 10 years away, which is all right, I guess. But
well that's
uh,
why for me it's a longer. I just let it keep adding and let it stake and
yeah,
you know, even in the
he's a.
next run up I might just hold it through.
I don't know if you ever listened to Hush. He does like an hour-long thing every like week or two, and the guy's a genius. I mean, he is probably one of the smartest guys I've ever listened to. He's just, and I love that he totally fucks with the trolls too. Like, I mean, he does like ask me anything, hour-long thing, whatever, and he's a smart motherfucker.
Yeah. And he's always the one going to Congress and talking about crypto and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah,
You
he's
know,
he's 100% for the people he believes in. He was one of the first founders of ETH, and then broke away from there, started his own thing, and everything he does is so delayed, but he wants everything to be perfect. Like he doesn't want you know, any errors or whatever, you know,
yeah, he doesn't like shutting down like Soul does.
right, right. But every time Soul shuts down, it's for less and less, and they're also doing so many transactions. I mean, they are just killing it. That it's growing pains. But they haven't been hacked. I mean, they haven't been. Yeah, hold on, loud train. Um, I have a lot of hope. And in fact, I think that over time, Bitcoin's going to be less and less relevant. It's just going to be more of a store of value and less, less for money. I mean, it's almost kind of dumb to trade with Bitcoin because it's value's going to go so high that to use it for coffee or anything just seems dumb to me. But I don't know. I do believe that 95% of tokens will go to zero. So just as long as a few survive, I think Soul will be one of them.
Yeah, I'm staying away
But
from anything too
but
crazy.
but I also thought Luna was going to be one too. So yeah, listen to me. I lost a lot. I had big hopes for that, and
No.
and I don't know. And Luna wasn't decentralized, so that was a big mistake. You know, and that guy should go to jail. And I hope this FTX guy goes to jail, but he's not going to. He's got too many friends. It just sucks.
He paid off both sides of the aisle pretty well.
Yeah, and I think the whole thing was a big scam just from the start with the help of it's just like you ever see that remember that movie with Tom Cruise where he was running drugs and stuff, and basically like you can't do that kind of shit without the help of the CIA and stuff. You know what I mean? Like I don't think he could have got away with all the stuff he did all the stuff he did. Because I mean he went from nothing to 40 billion in like a year, like just insane, you know.
Yeah, it doesn't look good for him, but we'll see. I mean, like,
Well, I guess Caroline, whatever her name is, was spotted in New York, so she's back in the US. But the problem with laws in US is you have to have intent, and it's hard to prove intent. They just act stupid, like, oh, I didn't think that was gonna happen. Oh. I mean, SBS literally going around acting like he had no idea what was going on and really lost. I mean, he was on the front of Forbes, Fortune 500 magazine, calling him the next, uh, what's his name? I can't think of the investor's name, but just just being a genius and
Warren Buffett.
Yeah, exactly. They call him the next Warren Buffett, and and CoffeeZilla totally burned him on a interview that they saying, how did you go from being this guy to I don't know what's going on? It's like it doesn't even make sense. But and it's amazing. SPF has been doing a ton of. He's been on everything. Like I don't know why his lawyers let him go out and talk and I don't know. He's trying to change the opinion of the people. I think and I don't know, but rich white people don't go to jail. The only reason Bernie Madoff went to jail is because he stole from rich white people. If he'd stole from poor black people, he'd never gone to jail. That's true.
Yeah, well, it's also if he keeps changing the narrative that nobody is going to arrest him.
Well, and his inclusion with Gary Gensler, which is the whole. I should know something what's going on with that because Gary Gensler was going to save crypto. Everybody was so happy. He taught crypto at MIT, so it's like finally a crypto guy in the White House. Everybody's all excited. And the guy literally has done nothing. In fact, he's been blocking everything. And the reason why is because he's tied up with this FTX thing. And it's like, I mean, he really should step down after this. But he's another rich white guy. That's what's going to happen.
Yeah,
and then everybody just gets pardoned anyway. I mean, like I don't know. Sucks. We have a two-tier in the US. We have a two-tier justice system. One for rich white people and one for poor people. Sucks.
So we're trying to be the rich white people.
Right? Exactly. Because you can't beat them, join them, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Not feeling that one. That's what I'm trying to do, but it does kind of suck though. Because he should go to jail, and he I mean, if that FTX shit didn't happen, Bitcoin might be at 30 grand right now. When it jumped way up when they announced inflation went down, which is bullshit, but whatever. That's what they announced, and it went up quite a bit. And it just seems like it just keeps getting knocked down. Something happens like every couple months or something. It sucks because I had a ton into Luna, and then what little I did have left, I put into Celsius because that was supposed to be super safe, and then that guy ended up being a scam. That guy needs to go to jail too, and that'll never happen. Sucks. But the one good news is now Binance is calling for, and so a lot of people calling for everybody to have proof of their holdings, and prove they have the money they say they have. And so, maybe some good regulation will come out of it, but who knows? I still have faith though.
No, I mean I still add to my hodl. I'm not saying I don't. I'm actually kind of glad Bitcoin's at 16 and 17 right now. Just
In fact,
add a little bit more in my daily cost, my monthly buys. So
well, the thing is, the thing keeps me believing is all these if you watch the wallets over 10,000 Bitcoin, they're buying up like crazy. So these billionaires are still buying. Banks are still buying. Fidelity just opened an exchange. That's huge. They wouldn't do that if they thought it was going away. You know what I mean?
No, I don't think it's going away. Not with all these countries adding it too.
Yeah,
Accepting.
Brazil.
it.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
huge. Brazil adding because that's like I think 300 million people or some crazy amount of people.
What's
So,
up, guys?
What's
What's up, bro?
happening?
Back in just the
Are the-
nick of time.
How are the donuts?
Oh, it's Curtis's birthday. So
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How old is he?
9.
Wow.
AMD kind of puked. It dropped, I don't know,
Kids make
50
you
cents. Oh,
kids
80,
make you realize how old you are.
70 cents in the last 5 minutes.
AMD has?
I see no news though. So I don't know what the reason is.
That's weird.
Oh, what time is it? Fucking.
Yep, it's time. Market opens in a minute and a half.
I need to move my clock up. So nothing really happened with the oil cap. I thought that'd be a
Oil
big.
sold off pretty good yesterday, actually.
it?
Yeah, it sold
I was
off. It was
looking
down
at-
about $2. It's
I was looking
back
at oil
underneath
futures.
8. It's at, yeah, oil futures down. It's at 76. It was at 80 not long ago.
Yeah, that's not.
I mean, this
Huge.
is a 30-minute time frame here, and you could see, like, I mean, this is yesterday. This is a cash only chart. Yesterday. That's a pretty big move. I mean,
Oh yeah, you're right.
that's 8% right there. I know it's only a couple bucks, but that's a pretty big move, I think.
Yeah, I'm looking at a chart. It doesn't figure. What does?
Yeah, they're Krispy Kreme too. They're fire.
You can get Krispy Kreme while they're still warm. That's the bomb.
Yeah, these ones were. They're coming right out of the thing.
Oh, that is a bomb.
All right, here's the open. We're opening inside yesterday's value, inside the inside day.
Okay.
We typically know can be a more range bound day or a more choppy market to start. The VIX is down today, down about 1%. We've got our breadth opening up red here. We've got our sectors opening up fairly green here, though. So we'll see what if we get any continuation or conviction on either side. We've just kind of gone back and forth now twice across the open. And so really what I'm looking for to convince me of a position is really for the market to get above the settle. I'd like to see us get above like the overnight point of control and just hesitate and then go kind of fix this high. Now above this high, I don't know if we're going to get real continuation. I expect to see some selling off of these two spots up here. But I'm not really sure about how it can act. A break of the Globex low really puts these single prints back into question, and I'd like to see us if we can. If we can really get below the Globex low with some tempo and some downside, that'll be more of just a go with type of trade. And you can see we've made a low here, made a low here. We're coming right back into that area. This is recent, just since 812, 850. And you see a little bit of a response there. And you kind of see us climb back above the open. So we can kind of assume there's a little bit of buying down here, right? Buyers kind of slowly moving up. So we don't really want to get convinced of any downside until we see a break of that Globex low. Starting to see all the sectors turn green here. Breath has gone positive. See what the Nasdaq's doing. Nasdaq's just kind of hanging out flat. Nasdaq, I mean, everything was a very tight range, as we can see, like the overnight session here, very tight range. No real movement. Just and then that Globex high for me was a bit mechanical, trading right off the point of control from yesterday. So So let's see if the market establishes on this 4 area. Bid moves up to that 4 quarter, gets traded. Kind of shoved right down right there. Nasdaq's coming down a bit. Nice little bounce. There we go. Back up to the 4. It's a little bit of profit taking on the 4, which is interesting. So that means people are playing they're playing the responsive trade here. And today we are going to go over responsive versus initiative trading. I have not forgot. Oh, and that's what I wanted to do actually. Chart. Duplicate. Oh no, that does. Yeah. So coming back down to towards the open, market looking for some buyers here. Let me. I want to pull. I want it because Kevin, you wanted to go over the DOM a little bit more, didn't you? Trying to figure out where we can kind of smash this DOM in here. Tough because not a lot of space. All right, so we're kind of squished today, but I'm not gonna keep the DOM up here forever. But this is something that I'll use to track inventory and track these trap traders that we always say.
Bot
And so
got into a put.
the bot got into a put.
Yep.
Oh, on AMD, yeah. So unable to really establish over that 4 trades all the way back down to the open. So we have to assume that there's a little bit of selling up there. And when we saw the profit taking on the 4. But so here, let's do this. Reset bid ask volume. Clear current traded bid ask volume. There we go. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. So we know the DOM already, right? And so just a quick overview. This is just a volume profile. This is just another volume profile. This is price. The blue line is resting buy orders. This is traded orders on the bid. This is traded orders on the ask. These are resting offers. This is a traded volume buy and sell profile. And these are called market buy orders. It shows you the size of the order that's in there. All right, so basically what we're seeing here now and how I'm utilizing this is we're seeing selling down here at the 00, okay? So right at the open, but no price advancement, right? So now we can assume that these sellers are stuck here on the open, on the 4,000. They got kind of absorbed. So what we do is we really just wait here patiently to see it get retested. And then, I mean, that would have been an opportunity to jump it again. But you can see right here, sellers are trying again. They got stuck again. And now we should take the high. Is there... Let's see. Actually, buyers are taking profit. Oh, they're lifting. Buyers are still lifting the offer here. Now you can see buyers being very aggressive here. You could see, right, 395, 214. We're still making a little bit of upticks, 400. Well, we're not really making as many upticks as we should with 500 lots traded, right? And you kind of see how this, there it goes. Couple upticks and then back down. So this tells you these buyers are really trying here at the 2.5, but they just haven't had any success. And so we know where the sellers were stuck at, which was down here on the 00. If these sellers are going to come in, that's going to be their target. And then what we look for, and
Watch
it's
to double down.
super tight range here, but what we look for is volume to come in underneath. So we'll start to see this thing fill in underneath and no price bounces. And then that lets us know, okay, there's our offer. That's the seller. We found the seller in the market. So far, we haven't found him because we haven't traded back underneath of that 00. Right? And there it goes. Then the bid gets up. We should take the high, like I said, because of the failure there to take this 00 back. And it just happens to be the open in a very psychological level. Like, you know, today just happens to be the luckiest day in the whole world. Tech has gone kind of red. Most of the sectors are green here. Communications and tech look like they're getting the selling. I remember they were green early on yesterday and then got sold off hard. And so they're continued selling into today. So watch the 00 here. So now we break it. We didn't take that high. What did we get to? 4. And so watch for volume to come in underneath of the 00. Ticks coming below 0 here. Volume's coming in on the low. All right, so now this is an opportunity where we can sell this. And we'll target, first target would be that Globex low, and you could just put your stop right above the open, because if it gets above the open, you really don't want to be in the trade. Yeah. So look at all this selling that's trying to happen down here. Look at all this volume. There it goes. All right, now you go to manage risk because you're looking for a breakout trade. If the breakout trade didn't hit your target right away, you don't want to stay right to the Globex low and kind of stopped. Weak volume as well. Look at the volume. So you could probably move your stop to 98 if you wanted, and then just leave it there. I mean, that'd probably put you. I mean, it should put you close to break even, if not in profit, and just let the rest ride.
You totally called it, Peter. Nice.
Thanks. Now let's see if it breaks this low and goes.
Where were you? What was your plan, Peter?
It was pretty much that 406, not get above it, and then look for this low right here. But if we spill right here, look for a real drop down to the kind of down to that POC in the 50, that 3960 range.
Okay.
Get momentum through this bottom and through that J, L, and M lows.
So notice how the volume's coming in down here, and you kind of see like, okay, so some shorts covered early because they were weak-handed shorts and or selling into strength. And then that's why you got that hesitation, and then we had more selling come in right here to push through those stops that were the Globex low. Hello? Hey. Hey. Uh, 25. Yeah. Why? Why? Oh. Oh, 22, 25. That's the same. Okay. Yeah. Mm. Yeah, it's good. Bye. Sorry about that. Well, there's that break. Let's see if they can take that prior day low. You can see the short covering here. A little bit easier to see it on the DOM. Just because of how it's separated, but you really don't want to see the market back up above this 96, because that's where the original shorts covered, original weekends, and that's where we hesitated, so you can assume that's where momentum traders piled on as well. Remember, the offer is still on the 2. That's where that seller was really at, was at the 2. Seeing a lot of sectors turn red here. Heck is getting beat down pretty bad. NASDAQ down about 0.64, so almost down about double the ES. And we're starting to get into some of these singles from, I mean, this is, what day was this? The 30th. I can actually erase this. We know we've got singles all the way down to here. Nice break of the prior day low. Everything, look, tick is coming down here. Minute chart obviously coming down as well. And we're coming down to a pretty, I would say, a pretty important trend line. This green trend line here, I'll show you where it's from. We're just speeding through. This is not a market you want to be really, getting in front of. Trying to fade this thing right now seems like picking up pennies in front of a steamroller. There's nothing really telling you like this is the low. So, I mean, 25 contracts on the low, all these bids down here, but you're not seeing any real price bounce. Look how ugly the profile looks, though. This is emotional selling. And a lot of times emotional selling typically doesn't hold. Not that you should buy it. I'm just letting you know, like, that's just something to think about. Watch the offer, the 85. That's where someone got liquidated from. Most likely. Breath is picking up pretty negative here. Buyers are stuck on the 83 right there. See that 714? Saw a big bid try to jump up, try to lift the offer. It got stuck right on the 83. See if the buyer's still there. The buyer's on the 83 here still.
If we don't fix this downtrend, the bot will get out. Meaning if we don't continue, or turn and continue from now. Oh, it might hold. And the bot won't get out.
That's that 20-day SMA too, that 8250.
Bot
Kind of
health.
get thumbs off of.
Good call. Good
I
call.
cut mine.
You cut your
there.
short.
Right there when it couldn't get below and stay it. But I'll take 30 points to start the day.
Shit. Nice trade, bro.
Thanks. Thanks, Stacy, for saying that. Made me hold my water right there at the overnight
No
low.
worries.
Hell yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome. Little
That helped
teamwork
me.
makes
Yeah,
the dream work.
I had a, I don't know, 20-point trade or something. I think it's something like a 20-point trade yesterday. So I did the same thing where I kind of felt like it was going to drop below 4K. And I mean, it was just like dead set on heading that direction. And then sure enough, it popped right below and then it started eating into the singles. And I was like, all right, I think I put my take profit at 46.50. It only got to 47.25 maybe, but and my stop was right there. And so it took me out, but it was a freaking amazing trade.
Yeah, I feel good about cutting this down there at that 8250 area right now.
Nice. Yeah, I
All right.
didn't catch all of the move like you did, but I caught a little piece of risky of it. It was nice. And that's I actually like that's super awesome that you guys like talked about it before and then executed. You know, like that's really what I want this platform to be, is like more of an open discussion rather than me just, you know, kind of like going on like play by play.
I was kind of thinking it would bounce. I had a single contract at 2/4. When it popped, I don't know, I got like 1.5 points out of it and then dumped it because I could see that this thing was tanking and my bot got into a put and I was just like, I'm not holding on to this thing. I mean, my stop was only, I think 3 or 4 points down. But that was an MES.
It did help me this morning because my biggest problem, and you know, other people I'm sure have this too, is like sticking with the trade when you believe it and like getting cut up. Like, I mean, I've been having 1,000 feet. Like, I feel like my days have been getting chewed up by fees recently.
Taking scalps.
But yeah, like, and it's just trying to hold the water through the chop when you believe in something.
I'm not gonna lie, yesterday it was so hard to hold on. I mean, so for the most of the day, I was putting 2-point stops. I think that one I actually extended to 3 to sort of help feed the chop, but it was hard to just like hold it and going, where's the bounce? Where's the bounce?
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like it was very stressful.
No, holding through the moves is my hardest thing. Not even identifying it anymore, which is frustrating. So it's like I feel like I can identify it, but then still acting.
Oh yeah, totally.
And not being faked out by the price action.
So watch this 90 level here. That's where it looks like the offers can move down to. If we get above this 90 or start to hold this 90 and you start to see these buyers stepping up, which we're kind of seeing here on the 89.5. But if you get these buyers stepping up, you may see a little short covering rally, and their target's going to be this week reference, right? That's probably where they'll be taking profit, because this is probably where they're stuck at, is up at this 95. And the offer wants to push it back down below the prior day's low, naturally.
Counts are 4 and 63.
You kind of have your battle right here, this 90 to 87.25. You said they're what?
4 and 63. It was 4 and 100, but that means 40 points ticked off in the minute candle that was above, because it only uses the last 5 minutes. Although the majority of the counts for the last, well, obviously if there's only 4, it's call counts. The majority of the counts have been put. And the P counts are rising right now. So we're at 80, 4 and 80. bot is still holding. But it is at a point where it could get out, so I'll let you know when it does.
Yeah, because this thing could bounce here. Oh, this is looking weird. Just be careful here. We're seeing volume move down below the Globex low towards the previous day's low, but it's so close to this prior day low, it's hard to tell, is this initiative selling or is it responsive buying, right? Because responsive buying is typically done below the previous day's low for a longer time frame trader. But anywhere in, I mean, that's what the book says, anywhere in my theory is really in excess. So we're inside yesterday's excess and we're seeing volume move down. And now what we're trying to do is kind of decipher, is this initiative selling or is this responsive buying? And so first, to really understand that, I guess we need to understand the definition of those two things, responsive buying versus initiative selling, or initiative buying versus responsive selling. Okay. So with initiative selling, we should see more, now that we've broken the previous day's range, we should see more selling. And so what initiative selling is basically is sellers that were selling on this side of the point of control and then deciding, you know what, this is fair value. Even though we haven't spent a lot of time down here, they're going to take the initiative to move lower and say, you know what, this is a good price to sell at, and start selling. Whereas responsive buying is more or less taking good risk to reward trades and saying, you know what, if I buy below the prior day's low, there's good odds that we probably trade back to the prior day's levels and I'll be fine right there. And you have to understand that these are longer time frame traders typically placing these orders. So they're not necessarily saying, oh, I'm a responsive buyer, I'm going to buy here and it's going to go up today, right? They might be a responsive buyer here. They might be a responsive buyer down here at the VPOC that Peter was talking about. They might be a responsive buyer down at 3,900, right? We don't really know, but the first spot that we could see them show up is here. So now we're seeing volume move down. What we want to see to get this continuation is we want to see this breadth tick back up, because the breadth was 1.99, it was almost 2.0 earlier. Now the Nasdaq's kind of leading the downside here. You see tick down below 80, but look at the tick. The tick is not really, and I took the 600 levels off because I really want us to focus on really just what paints above or below the 0 level. That's why I had it kind of smashed like this. And we can kind of assume, what's painting above and below the 0 level. We could even do this. Appearance. Let's just fill them both in. Doesn't matter really. And so what we want to see is if the market is going to trend down or break down lower, we'd like to see the tick get down there to that 1,000, because that's going to show us conviction from the overall market that it wants to go lower, right? Because we know this was kind of panic selling, it felt like, or liquidation. You've got a little bit of a bounce. More sellers came in. That original offer was on 92. That's where halfback is at now. It wasn't at the time, but that's where the original offer was at. They battled here at the prior day low. Sellers were able to take it lower, and now sellers have moved down and we're getting continuation. Nasdaq breadth is picking up. Weighted AD is picking up. But we are inside some single prints. The low of those single prints is here. I think this is probably going to be where the breaking point is at. If they're able to fill these single prints, that gives buyers plenty of opportunity to buy their position, or to get rid of their position, right? If they're trapped down here, if shorts are trapped down here, it gives it plenty of opportunity to buy their position back. So establishing below this 72 almost kind of guarantees that that 58 that Peter was looking for. And then honestly, we still have this weak reference down here, this poor high. So if we looked on a daily chart, where's the daily chart at? We look on the daily chart here, you could see where this trend is coming from the previous swing low, but then you can also see that we don't have excess from this impulse up. We have excess on the high, so it would make sense maybe to come down, push a little bit of excess, maintain this gap that's down here, and continue higher, right? Because we still know that this is, I mean, we are moving down. We're in a downtrend from the all-time high. That's for sure. We're continuing to move lower as we speak, but we do have to remain cognizant of the shorter term uptrend, right? Makes it a little bit easier to bear. And if we break these single prints all the
Just
way,
FYI, have a meeting at the top of the hour. The bot is 2 minutes or 2 candles into a 3 candle verification of reversal. Well, it's determination of reversal, which may not be reversal, but and also because of ES. But as best as I can tell, it will get out at the top of the hour, just to let you know.
okay. Oh, 1
So,
minute.
and if I'm in a meeting, I apologize. I won't be. I'll just have to post it in the chat.
But so it makes it a little bit easier because it's breaking the trend right at these single prints to almost target this gap down here as a spot for the market to kind of go to. You got the 50 SMA down there. We already broke through the 20. You got the 100 at 38, but if it doesn't hold excess, it would make sense for to test the gap. D period opens up. Bot got another count, so it's still holding. NASDAQ breadth is picking up. NYSE breadth is picking up a little bit. Energy and utilities really the only sectors doing anything decent. Buyers, look at buyers being very aggressive right here at the 78. 78.5 and no upticks yet. Sellers being aggressive right here as well. See the volume starting to accumulate. And you have to assume that because we're going through single prints, that the move down is going to be a struggle because you have trapped shorts here that are buying back as they get closer and closer to break even, or if they've averaged in, now they're back to their entry. What's the far right column of the DOM? It's market buy orders. So basically it's saying like down here on this 74, we got 148 lots. There's a 26 lot, 10 lot, 10 lot, 10 lot, 10 lot, 10 lot, 11 lot, 13 lot. Like those are the trades. And to me, what it looks like is that these are fucking stop losses just line the fuck up all the way down. And I know I'm not always a sayer of don't buy the market, but like I said, this is if you're trying to fade this thing, you're trying to pick up pennies in front of a steamroller. There's no reason to try to buy this. Nothing's telling us that. Tech is picking up to the downside here. Damn, I'm glad I closed that fucking gold short yesterday. Gold bounced. Gold's up 0.25%, but up a couple bucks from where I closed my short. Thank God. You can see we're breaking trend here. Let me see if I switch this to cash only, if this trend changes at all. Out to close the single prints. And this is that halfback of that big up day. The 30th that we had. That's why I kept it on there. $70. I mean, this thing just. No, you're seeing some bids try to move up to get filled a little bit higher. People are trying to front run the low of these singles. At the Dom at 78 quarter, it has 595. Dude, does that tell you anything? 78 quarter. Oh, right here. No, I don't really look at it. So the only thing I'm paying attention to are the big numbers. And I'm talking like over 300. Really, like I pay no attention to anything until I see a 300. And then when I see a 300, I look over to the other side and see, okay, so there's some selling, here's some buying. You know, I wish I could aggregate like in my head like Rain Man, and maybe I can, and that's how I use the DOM. And I just don't know it, but I couldn't tell you the number. But if you could aggregate all these numbers here, right, add these up versus these numbers, to me, it just kind of looks like there's more buying here. That's why I like this profile. You can kind of see a little bit more buying here, I think, and yet price went down. So these are stuck buyers. But know that like that 595 and 2, yeah, because it trades like this. You know what I mean? It trades diagonally up. So that 2 really is with that 31. This 632 is really with that 595. But if anything, that's where I'm looking. I'm looking the 600 buyers trying to lift the offer, only 595 sellers trying to sell the bid, and yet price went down. Buyers are weak. I mean, we know buyers are weak not just because of this, but because of all of these other things. So look, you got 995, 900 right there. So sellers are moving down. And see, look, 300 and you got 170 here. So the key is not to pay attention to really the numbers themselves. It's really to pay attention, where does the market go? So we got 400, we tick down. 425, we tick down again. So there's an offer moving lower right there, right? Weak spot 67 quarter here. So the seller wants to keep it below 67 quarter. Their stop is probably right above that. So if we get above 67.5, you'll probably see short covering back into 69 quarter, right? But not that we're going to be a buyer of this, but that's just something, if we are in a short and we're managing our position, that we want to be paying attention to. So there's the pop of that 67 quarter, and they're looking, remember the offer is 69 here. See if it gets up there. So here's 69. Let's see if the sellers come back out and smash this thing back down. Sellers getting a little bit stuck here. You can see their numbers are a little bit bigger, but yet we're not getting any down ticks. So to me, that tells me that the selling is drying up a little bit right here. Ooh, big seller on the 68. Watch the 68. If they can hold 68, they should be good. Buyers lift it. So seller's he's getting stuck right here on 68. Looks like they want 65. They're back below 68. They're selling it, selling it. Can't, like, I mean, you could see all the selling coming in, right? They push it back down again. Buyer, seller, flipping back and forth. But just struggling, right? Just, they cannot hold it below that 68 so far. And that's not telling you, like, selling is over, right? And that's the thing. That's the reason I hesitate using the DOM or showing the DOM, because you don't want to just be learning one method and then all of a sudden you know it. Because this could easily just flush back through that level as the guy that's on the bid, selling the bid, is just kind of eases up a little bit, lets to see if buyers are going to lift up. And if they don't lift up, then he hammers it back down, right? And you can see he moved his bid to 69 here. And he's getting kind of stuck on 69 now. There we go. So the sellers are about to, or they're trying to take over here at this low. That's what they're looking for here. And you see buyers 691, buyers a little bit too aggressive there, and they got caught off sides. And we just took a little lunch money from them right there. It's a little scalp at the low right there. Okay, so you see 837 there, but the price ticked up this time, right? So we assume that there's a bid there. They got a little bit too aggressive. We smacked them back down, but now they're back because we've got our fill. Those were momentum sellers trying to sell the 68. They were looking for 65. Where do we cover? 67. No continuation there. And then you saw that big buyer, it was an 800 on the 68, and it lifted price. So you could assume that that buyer's trying to soak this in. And what that's doing in turn is scaring a little bit of these momentum sellers, or people that are afraid to sell at the low, right? So some people are just going to be like, you know what, I'm just going to wait, I'm going to be more patient, I'm going to sell it if it moves higher, right? And that's what this buyer's kind of deal is. He's trying to do this, trying to scare them out of their positions, but nothing is really saying to close. So not yet, at least. We should get that 65, honestly. I mean, we should get that 50. What was it? Peter, was it 59 or 60? Well, I hate this thing because it doesn't show, like, it should show a price on the end of that point of control.
Yeah, I think it's like a 58.50.
Okay.
Might
Yeah.
have to be between 58 and 59.
Yeah, just be careful about the DOM. Just be careful about the videos. Like the way that I'm showing you is the most simple way, and it's in my opinion, the best way because you could overcomplicate the DOM because there's a lot going on it. You know what I mean? But there's no real way to kind of filter everything out to just the stuff that you need. So you kind of have to like read between the lines, like look through it and really just train your brain after just put it up on your screen and just watch it like after you're done trading and then start using it to sim trade because what it can do is it can make you over trade. The DOM can. Because one, it's super easy to get into a trade. Two, you know, over trading can just fucking even if it's it can just be bad, all right? Over trading can just be bad. Right? Even if it goes good one day, it doesn't necessarily mean it's gonna go good the next. So just, you know, just be careful of it, but really you're just looking like the only thing I'm really looking for is I'm looking at the yellow dot or the yellow line or whatever. I'm looking to see like where's these big orders and are they moving down? Like we're seeing these offers kind of move down here. They're filled in basically from 69 to 72. And you'll like train your eyes to like, because I'm only looking at the ones, you know, like, oh, these are 3 digits. Oh, okay, these are above 300. Look at this. And then you want to compare it to the previous action, right? Okay, so this was 300 lot, 300 lot, move down 300 lot, 400 lot, 300 lot, move down, a little bit of selling here, so we can assume that the seller moved under to 68 and now their stop is probably like 70, really, or probably just above 70. That's where they're going to capitulate. And momentum sellers, or yeah, momentum sellers, if they start to cover, might take us back up all the way to 83, which would be a pretty decent sized little short covering rally. We can just hope selling continues. The buyers are likely stuck around 75. It's hard to say, right? I mean, I think the buyers are stuck on 68 still. I think buyers are stuck on 68 and they're probably stuck on 78. You know, because there's probably
Not sure if you
what's that?
spot got out.
Oh, the
Spot
bot
is
got
out.
out. Oh, okay. Point of
And I
control
think
moves lower. If this thing gets above the point of control, then that starts to make sellers nervous here. So, what are you gonna say?
I think just freaking dropped. I mean, its level of being potentially able to get out was around 18% ish, based on the fact or based on the data that I'm looking at. It got all the way to 65%. So that
Nice.
thing was just dropping like a freaking rock.
Okay, so we're getting a ton of volume down here and no continuation. If we don't get continuation soon, we still have 15-ish minutes till the next bar opens up. But if we don't get continuation soon, we're going to have to start thinking about the possibility that sellers may be getting a little bit short in the hole. We need to see some buyer capitulation here. Come on. Get the fuck out of the way. Just give us a 65. We've been sitting here waiting for 65 for like an hour. And sellers start to cover at that 65 quarter. Offer moves. So look, you get selling on that 66 quarter. They tried to force it down, couldn't force it down. More short covering coming out here. Watch the 68. Buyers step up above the 68. Like I said, I think those stops are on 70, 70-ish. And really above those stops, depending upon how weak these sellers are, which they look pretty fucking weak to me, they could rip up all the way to 82. I'm flat completely now. I wanted to hold to try to get the break, but it's not going to happen. I'll be right back.
So you're saying your bot took a 65% loss before it got out, or 65% gain? You're in a put?
No, bot. Yes, the bot was in a put. So the way that the bot works is that it has a bunch of indicators, but one of the indicators is basically relative profit. And it's kind of a little complicated, but we'll just say in this particular case, based on the data that it was looking at, it was looking for a 17, no, probably would have been 19%. It was looking for a 19% return. And anything above 19%, it just looks at the data. So before 19%, it won't even consider getting out. In this particular case, based on how it determined what it was doing. So it looked for 19%. Once it got to 19%, anything past that is just indicators. And at that point, my indicators, not necessarily anything off the shelf, but it looks at my indicators. And if the data coming in is strongly pointing downward, then it won't get out. But what it looks for is 3 candles in a row, 3 1-minute candles in a row with indicators saying that there's a reversal. Because one candle wouldn't be enough. I mean, it's getting those all through. I mean, you see pullbacks all the time as it's dropping. So it doesn't do it just based on 1. 2, again, it's just a little bit weak of a reversal. But once it gets 3 candles, it's a pretty clear indication. And I mean, through all my back testing, it's not 100% perfect, meaning it doesn't always call the bottom, but it's a programmatic way that I can tell the bot this is a good level to get out. And in all of my back testing, it is basically if it makes it to the percentage level that it needs to based on the indicators, in very high numbers of cases, we'll say 80% at least, it actually finds those indicators 3 candles in a row and gets out. And that was the basis for which I created the model that the bot uses. But when I said 68%, it actually, so it was supposed to make at least make 19% profit. In this case, it made 68% profit on 2 buys, the original buy, the get in the contract buy, and then the double down. And then it actually took it all the way to 68% profit before it got out. That was the get out piece, 68%. Make sense?
Yeah, well, that's good though. I mean, more profit.
Right. Well, exactly. It's just the hardest part for me is that if I look at it, I probably would have gotten it out long ago. But the thing is that that's why I have to trust my back testing. Is my back testing sort of goes through and looks at all of the data that's coming through to determine when should it actually get out. And because the back testing tells me that my logic is solid, then I know that it will work and does what I need it to do. And for AMD, I would say that we're not, I wouldn't say we're a complete reversal. It could be just a little bit of a bounce, but so far, given the past 9 minutes, we've jumped about, I don't know, 50 cents, roughly. I would say that the bot made the right decision to get out.
So pressing right up against that 70, this is where I think these stops are at. And like I said, I think it could pop all the way to 82. I mean, the selling just looked emotional. And that just happens to be like half back, prior day low, 82-ish to 87-ish area. And it happens to be one of my zones. Watch this weak spot here, 76 quarter-ish. Yeah, 76 quarter. Well, no real cover up above that 70 at all. So that kind of tells us that buyers are weak to me, or at least they're just being a little bit cautious. In that we just need to get back below this VPOC and then the downside should be back on. But we don't want to see the market get above this 76 quarter. The Nasdaq still is looking kind of strong though, hesitating a little bit here. See if they get one more chance here. So basically here's the kind of the play that I'm setting up for the next trade. I'd like to see, God damn it. Hello? Hello? Hey. All right, sorry about that, guys. So we see the 65 trade. There's just zero chance that doesn't go lower. But I mean, we got kind of ruined. I was trying to draw that sell box. But we had talked about if it got below 68, we should just get short anyway. So, hopefully everyone got short.
Hey, on your DOM there, what are those numbers on the far right? The 28, 14, 11, 10.
So these are the orders, how they're made up. The computer is calculating that there's 113 lots on 62 quarter, and one of them's a 15 lot, one of them's a 12 lot.
Oh,
It's
that's
just
cool. So you can
and
see.
it doesn't it doesn't really do much, to be honest with you. It's not that you
Well,
could
but it can
just
tell you if it's one big buyer or a bunch of smaller buyers, though, right?
right, yeah. Like up here, you see like there's 140 lot order on 200 lot offer. Like that tells you that there's probably a bigger seller up there, and that was 87. So, but not close to price. And really, the only thing that matters to me is when these orders are close to price. So like if I start seeing some of these bigger orders, like boom, there's a 10 lot, so somebody moved down to sell the bid. So there's a seller moving down lower now. And we can see all these orders that got taken off at that break. Little visions. You can see this order here on the 65 is just sitting. It's still getting lower. What was that low tick there? 805. Patrick, good morning. Hey. Good morning. Oh shit, I've been like ignoring you too. My bad, dude. Let me open it up. We had a kind of a weird start to the day anyways because of I dropped off some donuts this morning. What is the purple moving average? That's the VWAP. Yeah, it's not a moving average, it's just the VWAP. You're talking about these ones right here? But why don't the red, pink, and white volume at the 68 area match the volume numbers directly to the right? I'm not sure. You're talking about right up here? Yeah, I'm not sure what this green volume profile is. That's why I added this one. And I don't know how to mash this one over and get rid of it, so I just left it. Which might be delta, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, these left too, yeah. Not sure, to be honest. So it sure seems like they're knocking on the door here. They want that point of control. Like 618. So offer moves down and it ticks down. Big bid tried to jump that at the edge. Weird. NASDAQ didn't really break lower there. See what it does. Come on. You can do it. Weak-handed shorts covering. I guess that's a pretty biased statement by me, so I'm sorry. And so here's another thing I want to talk about too. Okay, so let's think about this. Everyone has the inclination like, oh, fucking sellers are done here. They're weak, right? They're like, oh, this is the low. Okay, so we're not TPO traders, but we utilize the TPO as a trading tool to kind of show us where value is going, right? Instead of being price addicted like most. And we use volume to show us acceptance or failure of the change of value. So we're clearly seeing a change of value here as volume and you know two TPOs go lower. Okay. But let's say you think this is the low. We've got a nice taper right up to point of control, and we're just going to get up above point of control, and we're going to fucking shoot up to that magical 82 that I won't shut the fuck up about, right? Because I'm kind of leaning towards that with this slow-ass tempo. We keep getting like a break, and then we haven't... I mean, we were here forever, and now we're not even 10 handles lower, right? We're 4 handles lower. I wouldn't say that's really any change. And so it's making me think maybe sellers are getting a little bit tired or something's going on, right? But anyways, and this could just be the weak-handed buying like we were talking about. Well, like I was thinking, but anyways, so let's say you want to be a buyer here, right? What's the harm in waiting until D period opens up, which is not for a while, 22 minutes. But let's say you think this is the turn and you want to be a buyer here, right? What would be the difference? Now you're taking some heat. What would be the difference if you just wait until D period opens up, even if C rallies and you miss all of this area down here, C period rallies and D period doesn't open up till here, but buyers still look strong, and you buy it up here, and then it continues up, right? Yeah, you'd miss out on this, but you're also not getting into an unfavorable position. Sellers are moving down here. They need to continue. You're seeing kind of a little... There it goes. I was gonna say. But do you know what I mean? Like, so if you can kind of wrap your head around that, or even just think about that statement next time the market's trending and you're fighting it. And this goes for the same for the upside, because I know a lot of people struggled with the market on Friday. They fought the upside the whole day, and then I think a lot of people yesterday probably struggled buying the market on the day where the market was just going down. And then maybe again today people are trying to get in front of this steamroller. But I want you to kind of think about that. And so when you start it can be a psychological exercise when you start to get into that mindset of like, okay, I think this is the bottom. Looks like buyers are showing up here. First thing I want to do is see when does the next period open up, right? Because honestly, you have 20 minutes until D period opens up, but C period could be the low of the day. You could get in here, but this thing could go all the way down to like 46, stop you out, and then D period could open up lower and then move up, right? And if you would have just waited, you would have been able to manage risk a bit better and got yourself into a better position. And even the same thing, I think, on the upside, honestly. If this is the low and D period and C period rips up and then D period opens up here, I still think that you're able to manage risk better than just getting in here. I mean, yeah, you put your stop here, but what are the probabilities of the trade? That's what you've got to think about. We're one time framing lower. We know we have trapped longs. We're like getting in here, putting your stop here. The probability of that trade is what? Not very high. Yeah, the risk is low, but you don't want to take a bunch of low risk. You don't want to take a trade just because it's low risk. You know what I mean? Like that's not a qualification. Like that's part of the trade. You want to manage risk in every trade, but a trade qualification is not, well, it was a low risk trade. That's a dumb fucking trade. It's a gamble. You know what I mean? Like, it's only $5. It's only $5. It's only $5. It's only $5. That shit fucking adds up. Tell that, I mean, one time I was at a casino and I watched this guy come in. Oh, nice liquidation there. Watch this guy come up to the roulette table and spend, I mean, pretty much all of his fucking money. And me and my brother were like, bro, when you go home today, your life is going to be different. Because you're about to have to tell your significant other you fucking lost all their money on roulette. And he was just placing small bets over and over. But he was, I mean, he just powered through fucking probably like 5 or 6 grand in like less than an hour. I'm like, dude, you're losing it. And he would win sometimes, but he'd never left. And eventually he lost it all. And he went to the ATM, he got some more money, came back, fucking lost all that. So he was just, basically what he was doing was just kind of like spreading his chips out all over the roulette table. And I understand the odds of roulette, right? I like to play roulette because it's fun, not because I plan on winning. But he was just like sprinkling his chips everywhere. So even if he won, it really wasn't that much. He was like, he was winning. It was like for every 1 chip that he bet, he was winning like 1.2 chips. You know what I mean? So it's just not worth it. And even though it was a little amount of betting at a time, that shit added up. So now I kind of assume we have trap shorts for the first time. We get short covering down here, momentum shorts trapped 54. We know that because we got a little bit of short covering based off my interpretation of based off the volume there. And we're getting right back to where these trap longs were at. So, oh, excuse me. Out for the day, Peter? All right, we'll catch you later, man. Hopefully you had a good day. What we're looking at here is these longs that were trapped from up here getting back to where their position was at. And so what should happen is they should start selling, right? If they don't start selling, and selling would be back below this 61, then they're going to look to close these single prints. And the book's a lot thicker than it was yesterday. And you're seeing the selling side is a little bit weaker here. What was... Dude, I had to take a quick peek. I was in a NASDAQ short, but I was like certain that it had already hit my profit target, but I didn't look at it. And then right now as the ES was bouncing, I like looked over and I'm like, oh, thank fucking God. Because the NASDAQ was bouncing hard. Jim Dalton also announced his new intensive. Let me pull it up real quick. So volume 78% less than yesterday. I don't know. I don't think that's right. Guys, winter intensive is going to be February 1st through March 2nd, 2023. Early bird pricing ends on December 18th. What's the price for it? The price for it is $1,250. So if you've got some money saved up, it's worth it. Honestly, I think it was $1,200 is not really that much money of an investment into yourself as in the long scheme of things. JB, you did his last one? Nice, yeah. I might jump in that fall one or the winter one as well. I did the winter one this year. It was January through March, like the end of January through March. And it was a good time. You just got to make sure you have the time to do it. That's the thing. It's the hardest thing, let me say. Right? It's the toughest part is having the time. Because unfortunately, while you're trying to learn trading, right? It's like being in college with a full-time job. It's tough. You could, Jake. You could look at them like that. So Jake asked, could you look at the buy and sell rows between the blue buy and red sell rows the same way you might look at a footprint chart in that 90s, 3950s area? Shows an imbalance, 3950s. We're at, we didn't trade down to 3950. Like down here, you mean? Okay. I mean, you could. You'd have to like kind of decipher the imbalance yourself. Like you'd say this is a buy imbalance, maybe. Yeah, you could. I mean, this basically right here is a footprint chart for the day. Kicks back at 0 here. Sellers don't really seem nervous, to be honest. I mean, we're 10 handles off the low. Coming back inside that B range, but sellers don't really seem super nervous. And you kind of see in this wider view, right? There's that poor low down here, which would, I mean, most likely another break of the low. That's going to be the next target down. And that's at like 43. We've got deep period opening up in 8 minutes. Market's very tight right here. Like a 66 to 63 range. Yeah, I mean, just keep ticking lower. Sellers just seem like they're not even worried. They're not moving down, not really doing anything. They're just kind of like, yeah, these buyers are weak. They'll eventually give up and this thing's going to go. They're kind of being complacent, it seems like to me. Complacent. Where the fuck's Jared at? I know he's home. He got home yesterday. I know he's home. Tick back below 0. Breath's still picking up. If they want some more, Nasdaq's breaking down. kind of have a ledge forming here, like right at 70. So not that we're close to that, but just an area to just carry forward at least. Write it down maybe if that's what you do. Or remember it. Could see some capitulation from buyers here to give us a break back below that 58. Come on, buyers. Put up. This move down is actually pretty well respected. You've got the VIX up 4.5%, PLT's up 0.75. Everything's red except for bonds and gold. Bitcoin's green. Should get flush down below this 8. Should be golden, boy. Here comes the weak short covering. So no flush below 58 there. No, just keep track of 58 now because this is where the offer was at. They need to flush this thing down below 58. Right, if you're in a short right here, you could probably put your stop, honestly, 61.25 and be fine. If it goes above that 61.25, you probably don't want to play anyways. There it goes. Flush them. Flush them. Flush them. Big offer on that 60. Probably move stop to 60. Yep. So that's twice they tried to smash it lower. Comes a charm. Come on. Those 58. Heal. It's financials. Financials is catching a bit of a bounce here. Here we go. D period opens up with some singles. Let's see, can we get a liquidation break? Give it up. Financials is moving down. XLB healthcare is popping. Tech is popping. No flush of the 58. A little volatility kicking in here. Oh, maybe they're gonna give it. Oh my god. There's a 61 quarter, and like I said, I don't really think you want to be in the short here. If this thing gets too high above 61 quarter, because it could really bring out some short covering, I think. But looks like shorts are just easily moving this thing down off of stops of crap longs. Looks like. The tick is going to be the key here. Watch the tick. The tick can't get negative. It's at 18 right now. It's basically at 0. If it can't get a little bit more negative, this thing's not going to go. I need some sellers to come down lower and sell this thing lower. But it looks like we're probably going back up to 66. They just keep struggling at this 58. God damn. I'm just going to cover here. I'm done. That was a struggle fest even. Right back to 58. So you see that? It gets like down, that got down to like almost 56 and then just scooped back right up to 58. really untrusting of what's going on in the market right now, and it's hard for me to, and I'm be the first to admit it, it's hard for me to really kind of decide what we're doing. I think we're going back up to this point of control, 64, 66, to kind of redecide what we want to do because there's no conviction. But like I said, it's a tough read right now. And I'm just kind of going off of the tick, to be honest. But we could just, break lower also. Like that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying to buy it. I just closed my short. I don't know. Actually, I think we probably could try this here. Little launch pad 60 to 66. Book is getting super thin. So hard for me to buy a one-time framing down market. I'm just not gonna. All right, so here's the plan, and this is a high risk trade. But we're looking for. I'm looking to get filled at 55. My stop's gonna go 52.50. My target's gonna be 56. I'm using the low, and I'm trying to get filled at 55. So it's a high risk trade. Oh, there it is. Okay. I got filled at 56.50. So didn't quite get down, had to force my way in. For 1 point? What do you mean for 1 point? No, my target's 66. Oh, oh, sorry, my bad. Yeah, I'm all congested right now still. I have some fucking disorder still. We could manage risk a little bit here if we wanted to. We are fading this, so we don't want to get too greedy. Just move our stop to the 60. Yeah, I got stopped out right there. Could try this again actually though. Go back to 55. What was that trade? 56.50 to 59.75. Buy to take stoppage. Inch. Yeah, I agree, Roach. And that's what I was saying. Like, it's just like sellers seem so nonchalant. You know, they're just like, meh, it'll go down. These buyers are weak, you know. That's kind of what it feels like. Yep, and there goes that. All right, so we get a big offer moving down the 52.75 there. Buyers matching. Down tick, up tick, down tick. Some upticks there. Seller struggled on the low there. There they go. Some more down ticks. So now they're seeing some progress for all of their effort, these sellers are. Momentum sellers are selling here at the 53, basically. Hit him with the big stick. Yeah, that would be funny if a big buyer just came in and just... Because he would be able to rip the book up pretty easily. Because it's fairly thin. Weird coverage. They definitely don't want to see it above 55. Above 55, it starts to get it start get going again. It's above this 55.
The NQ didn't break the low.
Yeah, it did. I'm looking at that. Wow. And the Nasdaq's been the leader today as well, so it's kind of like you wonder why. A lot of volume down on the 50 now. If these sellers can't hold below this 53.5, then it might pop. There's just so much selling going on down here. You could see 1,000 lot, 400 lots, and you can kind of see on the bid ask profile. Like you could feel the fear from sellers because that's who's buying this back. You know what I mean? They're scared. And above this 55, I might see more short covering. And like I said, I think that they're really trying to get back to that 66 to show some strength. They got close to it with that 64. It was just kind of a mechanical sell right off the point of control. So look at that, 510. You get a couple upticks, but then an immediate smack below. Watch where it ticks from here. It ticks up. So a bid has stepped up here on the 56. And sellers need to get this thing back down below that 53.5 area. The longer time it spends up here, the better the odds become that they start to cover. And here they are. They're starting to get nervous. I covered one right there at 58. I'd like to see 66, to be honest, still. I moved my stop to 58. Now just leave it there. Okay. Let it rest. See that? That kind of seems like a big bid. Let's see if we get some upticks now. Seems like a buyer's trying here. It could be getting stuck though. I remember that. I mean, the definitely we're a downside day for sure. So that's why I'm managing risk really fast and not just and now I'm out. Damn, it got me on the low tick. Oh, only on one account though. Okay, I still have one account in. That's so annoying. Oh. Oh, because one I had my stop at 58 quarter and the other one at 58. What a pretty little bitch. My stop's still at 58 on this other account. It's a small account though, so fucking worthless. Watch how it acts here. If they don't move down to sell more in here, then it should just go, right back up to that D high. You could move your stop up more aggressively here to like 59, and just be happy that you got the bounce. Because you're not getting any powering through there. Not yet. You want to see the ticks get elevated. Right now we're not seeing that. Damn, should probably just, you know what? Alright, I'm flat. Still be too early. What do we go for today? Five for six, it looks like. Depending upon how you played it, it could have been 4 for 6. One of them was kind of a scratch anyways. But not bad. Not a bad day. That's right. You're kind of seeing here inventory or like new selling move off and try to get filled as close to that 66 it seems as they can. Like any time the market starts to bounce, offers move back, and then once it stalls, they start slamming it. And that's why you're getting like these nice pops, but they're not really pops on any high volume. We'd like to see for continued upside here is you'd like to see the point of control shift. You have 2 minutes until the next period opens up. So if you're not in a position, there's no harm in waiting 2 minutes. Even if you miss, right? Even if D period goes all the way up here and you miss these 5 points, you'll survive. Remember, you still have trapped longs above, single prints, just right above. Tick failing to hold above 0 once again. It basically been on the downside the entire day. Selling right off that 50 moving average on the 1 minute. Look at VWAP, not moving down at all. 39.81 has been pretty much sitting there all day. It's starting to flatten out a bit. Typically when the VWAP starts to flatten out, it whistles like, hey price, come back to me. So really, there it goes. So there we go. We got the VPOC shifted down. So what you can do here is wait for the selling to dry up. Try to buy this pullback. You can use the D low as your stop, or you could wait to the break of this E high. This looks like a good one here. Yep. All right, so we should see continuation past this 61.5 right away. Right away here. If not, get out. Come on. Go. All right, my stop's 61.50 now, locked to profit, a point of profit here. Looking for 66 still though. Here. So elo is mechanical still, so be ready to flatten out if we can't take the D high. Don't just sit there through a pullback, right? If we can't take that D high, you gotta flatten. They're trying. Tick is good. Tick is at 279. We want to keep seeing this tick pump a little bit. These buyers are struggling here. Come on. Flip that off. Offer's still just sitting on that 63.50. Move my stop up to 62.50. Real tight and aggressive with it. If it gets ticked out, you know, a little 2-point scalp, whatever, I guess. Oh. Nah. Guarantee it got me again. And the reason I'm being so tight with these positions, I'm out now. I got back ticked. The reason I'm being so tight with the positions is because one, we didn't see that continuation, and then two, look at the tick. Tick starts to come off of it a bit. So I'm not just gonna sit there, you know, hoping and praying that we're gonna go to 62 when we might get a better opportunity to take some profit and re-enter back here off of bounce, you know, from our original entry. Which that time was 60 quarter, so that's obviously being even tighter with it. Matt Flint, what's up, man?
Well, Bitcoin just got the best news ever.
What's that?
Kramer just said it's going to 0.
He just said that. What? He said it's going to 0.
Yeah, Kramer did. So that means all-time highs are coming. So funny. Actually, though, Bitcoin's a little decoupling from the S&P. Just going up and S&P's dumping.
Yeah, that's true.
Why do you think it's been going down about 2 days?
The market?
Yeah.
Just liquidation leading into the Powell, I think, next week. The Fed funds rate tool is down. Fed funds rate tool. You're looking at they're pricing in a 75%. It's the same percentage of a half basis point raise. So nothing really extreme there. Just maybe
Isn't that very-
liquidation.
Seems like they kind of already be baked in though, but I guess not.
Yeah, it's tough. I think like that term baked in is such a tough reaction because like because you don't know what the market's going to do right when it gets that information. So like depending upon your time frame of trading, like if you're a shorter term or intermediate term trader and you're expecting this next Fed meeting to move the market lower, then you want to be getting out of your long so we can be getting this liquidation. And then Fed meeting comes out. We saw the last Fed meeting, it went up like 2% and then down 3%, something crazy like that. If you're a longer time frame trader, that change is not really affecting you. But if you're a shorter time frame trader, even if you were expecting the market to just go down that day, it went up first and then couldn't hold and then broke down towards the ass end of the day. And you know what I mean? So like even if it is baked in, we still had a 5% move in a single day. That's a big move. So I just don't believe in the baked in or efficient market theories because based off of what the market does is what people are going to do. So everyone is reactionary. All the algorithms that they run, those are all reactionary algorithms. And so like before it comes to one of those meetings, everyone is in a responsive position. So there's no initiative in the market, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and so it's like it's kind of like if you're intermediate to short-term trader, there's really no reason to have any positions on before that meeting because it could go against you and then come right back to you. But the whole thing, can you withstand the heat, And so even if you were an intermediate time frame trader and you had a big short on that day, if you were to have held, you would have took a lot of fucking heat before that market actually broke down. And if you were a long and you held but you didn't take profit and then it broke down lower, then you didn't take profit, right? I mean, it's just like, there's just no I'm like talking in circles kind of, but it's hard to really determine, basically, is what I'm getting at. It's hard to really determine why the market's going down this week, other than we can just assume people are liquidating into the Fed meeting next week. That's the only thing I can think of, really. And I know that was like the longest explanation for that, but kind of the way that my brain works is that's how it goes about it, like a roundabout kind of way.
It's all right. We got plenty of time. Are you gonna trade right now?
No. No. I can't. I won't really become a buyer again until the tick gets above 0. If the tick can't even convince us there, like those, I took a trade. I got filled 55, 56, 55, 55. Closed at 58, 58, 58 quarter, 62.50.
I do like you putting the DOM on the screen though, because what you're saying makes more sense when you're going through stuff.
Yeah, I can keep it on there. This cramps our style for the TPO. So remember 55 was a big level the first time we were down here. Let's watch how it acts again. Okay, so some short covering right there. That's what that was. So 55 half. The buying. All right, right here. Here's where we're going to trap sellers. Going to be some trap sellers right here. Maybe. If it doesn't break down below 55, there's going to be trap sellers right here. Same spot. They got stuck again on the same spot. They bounced up, came right back down, bounced up.
So are you waiting for it to get above the 64?
No, I got in at 57.75. Yeah, when they failed it, and then it kind of like trickled. They tried it again. They failed it again at the 56. I just bought it as it was moving up. I just, pressed the blue. I've just moved my stop to break even. So 57.75. Could even move it to like 59, honestly. And then just let it ride. Try to get to 66. If it takes you out, what can you do? You get a point. Just be happy.
But if it does break that 64, it's a good chance to start going up, right?
It's got to break 66, and that would take us like back to 82 if it holds
Why
to
66?
66. Because those are my levels on the chart, Kevin. 66, 82. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, it's just relative area. I think 66. It needs to get up here because that gets it close enough to start getting these shorts that probably momentum shorted starting from up here to start covering a little bit. But you're going to face chop through these single prints. What can really tell us here is if we do break that 66 and just go straight to 82, that the sellers were just liquidators, and that would kind of confirm our theory. And that honestly would even go in line with this thing failing to break down to fix this mechanical reference. And so we should trade back up to this distribution, and probably what happens is we start to get 4 TPOs lower, so we'd have to break up here, spend some time back in these single prints, and then maybe get balance around that 4,000 level into the end of the week. Today's only Tuesday, so we've got all week, but into the end of the week, and that would give us balance with a clear defined stop loss, this excess low for a longer term position to the upside. I think 60, 20, that'd be 40 points. And the 200 is 100. Oh no, it's 80 points. That'd be 2 to 1. Big fundies at the end of the week, PPI. Yeah, but Jake, I don't know if PPI is going to be that big of a deal because Monday's the big. Mondays we've got where's my economic calendar? I think Monday next week is the big bam. Let's see. Sweet. Oh no, it's Tuesday. My bad. Tuesday we have CPI. And then Wednesday's the decision. Yeah, so actually no, actually I think you're right, Jake. I think PPI might be a big one at the end of the week then. I was thinking it was Monday. I thought for some reason I was thinking PCE and PC and CPI was on Monday, but CPI is on Tuesday. Oh. For real, TJ. I agree. Be dope if we just filled them all in one shebang and just cruise right back up onto that VWAP 79. That'd be cool. Halfbacks right there. Single prints are closed right there. Everybody's happy. We still can have a B profile if we sell off from there. Yeah, I have my stop at 58.75 still. But I only have one lot on. I only put one lot on. So and I would say like immediately, I mean like longer term, values shifting down, right? But we had 2 TPOs here, then we've got 3 above, up to here. We tried up here, we have 4. So this is kind of like the areas that we're trapped in between 55, 64. You can kind of see like, you know, even without your volume profile or without your DOM, that should be decipherable to you to explain where value is moving. E period opens up. We had 2 TPOs down to here, right? Came all the way up to here, where 3 TPOs started. Single TPOs on the low, and then E period opened up, and then you get 3 TPOs here, so it kind of absorbs those zones. You've got a smaller zone here, smaller zone above. Value is currently right here. So you figure responsive selling, responsive buying, excess, excess. Right? You have to, you know, do the, oh, not what I wanted. There you go. And if you just look at the profile like this, right, as the tempo is getting slow, because we were one time framing down, we're still one time framing down technically, which is why we're really, well, actually, I'm not even in, no, okay, hit. But while we're being really cautious of buying a low down here because of the one time framing down and, you know, all of the other negative information, but I still want, you know, everyone to be able to kind of break it down here and see where value is at, right? So the lower E goes, the more value starts to build in down here. And it gets confirmed by the volume. So don't pay attention initially to me over the volume. We get over 67, I think we get a stop run. Yeah, I agree. I agree. So you're just like, I mean, look at like the book is just stacked all the way to 63. And on the buy side, it's not really as thick. More or less to me, like, looks like weak-handed short's gonna get stopped out. And I'm starting to see a little bit of momentum build to the downside below this 55.
The NQ keeps getting sold at that 45, 40, 45 area. They just can't break it.
Oh yeah.
Seems like every time they get up there, they just get sold back down.
And the NQ is not near as low as the ES is comparatively.
No, that's why I'm thinking if they could break through that zone there, could get some short covering that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And look, sellers like that, they're not being aggressive really. They're just kind of like, hey, we're here. But anytime price pops, they just run back and then they just move as they've just been really patient.
I like that little bounce.
Yeah, that looks like a low to me. We've got trap shorts at 57 and at 53.
I was thinking about adding one if we get over 67. What do you think about that?
I was literally just looking up there, and I'm thinking to myself, like, what if they just let that pop, and that's where the drop comes from?
Mm-mm.
So let's see.
Yeah, with those singles there, probably should
Yeah,
move on straight into them.
exactly. That's the only thing that's because they could just let them come on up and then just hammer them down from there. See if the tick can get going well. We bounce an XLK or something. We'll come off of it a little bit. Yeah, like you almost get the feeling like, fuck, I could take a breakout from here, but market looks so weak today that it just makes you want to exercise caution. There's the first offer that we've seen really move down to that 60 right there. I haven't really seen anybody move down until now. Every time they've just kind of like almost like when you bounce a basketball and you just like move your hand up until it stops moving up naturally and then slam it back down again. They still didn't follow price, and now they're short covering. F period opens up.
Brad, do you think this is actual sellers and really not shorts because they're just not covered? You know what I mean? Like maybe this big down drop today is just actual sellers. What do you think about? I mean, I know there's going to be both in the market at all times, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it definitely could be, for sure. The only thing is like I think if it's selling, that we should take that 44 and fix that week low.
44.
40, it's like 43 half or something like that. It was a poor low.
Okay.
It's that white
Maybe
line.
we will.
Yeah, no, definitely, yeah, we definitely might. We're pretty close to it, so
Yeah.
that's why I'm definitely not ruling out those odds.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm just saying it's like the shorts just they ain't scared, but maybe they're just not there really. And you know.
Yeah, no, that could be the case. I think basically what happened today was just that they caught enough people off sides in A period and were able to liquidate them lower.
Yeah. So long is just selling basically, getting out.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Saying yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
You think Joe just bought off the open and got trapped?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Most. And I really think like, I mean, it's such. I wish we were closer to that fucking poor low. To be honest, it would be a nice, easier risk managed trade. But I think that we probably just balance inside this area until next week. Because if we kind of look at this, right, it's like an ugly fucking, ugly fucking balance kind of.
Yeah, boring week.
Well, I mean, it's a pretty big zone. It won't be too boring if it does balance in this zone. I mean, you could see balance from the 200 all the way down to the 20. So you're looking 39, 35 to 40. So you're looking at a 100-point range.
Well, yeah, I did drop 100 points yesterday, almost.
That's pretty decent. That's a pretty decent range. But I think if selling is real, then they need to come down here and let us know. My name is Toby. $39.38 the on the daily. Basically right where price is at. So yeah, they're basically at the same spot. And if nobody wants to sell into that, and that poor low continues to hold, that lets us know there's no supply down here at this lower range, and the market's going to have to move higher to find supply. That's what I'm wondering, is that 66 that supply that the market's waiting on to, or 60, say 66? Yeah, 66. Is that the supply that the market's waiting on to kind of hammer this thing back down? Or is that their stop loss? That's what's kind of troubling my brain.
Looks like gold's really the only thing that's up today.
Yeah, I'm so glad I sold that closed that short out yesterday. I almost carried it overnight too. We were like 2 points. So I wanted 77, and I think I closed mine at 81. And I think it went down to 79, so I closed it a little bit early. But then
That's a good thing.
I saw it today, and it popped up. It's at 83, so $2 above where I closed it at.
Well, it's at 71 right now.
Gold?
1771, yeah.
Gold contract that I'm looking at 1783. What contract are you looking at?
This is says CDFs on gold US or
What
CFTs.
what month are you looking at though?
This is current. It's up 2.66. There's up $2 today, 0.15%. I'm just looking on TradingView.
What contract it is? See if you might be. Would you say it's at 1771?
Yeah. 1770. But it does say it's up $2.
It might be spot.
Yeah, maybe you're looking at the spot. Yeah.
It could be. It doesn't really say. It just says CFDs on gold.
Yeah. So the ticker on TradingView should be GC, and you should be on the
Mm.
February contract
Let me see that.
because gold is weird.
What did you say it was?
GC.
Oh, GC.
GC. Yeah.
Oh, go futures. Yeah.
Man, we're just stuck in this range, huh?
Yeah, 1784. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, this
That's
range
a
is
big
tough.
difference on spot price then.
$10. Yeah.
Yeah, if you own millions, it's a lot.
Well, oh, and that's what. Yeah, and that's what people own. Yeah, because gold's a pretty heavily. I mean, not as much, but I mean, it was a pretty heavily traded market. It's tough because it trades like there's different gold markets too. Like you could trade like the English gold, you could trade there's other metals out there, other like other S&P, like other
Yeah, it's definitely
markets.
its own thing.
All right, well, I think I know what we need to do. We need to end the stream. So actually get some movement. I'm gonna get some lunch anyways. I will share my screen on the Discord, and then I'll be around on the mic for a little bit until I gotta go pick up the kids around 2 o'clock, so in like 2 hours. But yeah, other than that, make sure that you are managing risk and sticking to your trade plan. And then, like I said, if you have anything that you'd want to add or see more of or go over more of in the stream, definitely just bring it up, and we can try to facilitate as much as possible. You guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you all later.